Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the FC's Football channel. And we are back with the match preview. I don't know what I accidentally just went live on the wrong thing, but we've sorted it now. Welcome to the match preview, or the look ahead for the Manchester United versus Brighton game. Now, of course, there is going to be a watch on for this match. Details are on my side. So kickoff is at 3 o'clock. So, of course, alongside this Manchester United game, we will cover the other Premier League games going on at the time, including West Ham versus Manchester City, arguably one of the biggest matches of this game week, alongside this game between Man United and Brighton, which is confusing as to why this game is at 3 o'clock. Surely this should be televised in the UK, as well as the West Ham Man City game. Alas, it's not. It's part of the 3 PM blackout. However, we move. We deal with it and we move on. So, like I say, please do tune for that. 2:30, it starts. Kickoff at 3. There should be a link in the description, so you can go watch that when we go live. Now, coming into this game, Manchester United sit 11th in the Premier League on 6 points. 3 points off of Brighton, who are in 6th. And Manchester United obviously come into this game having just lost 3-1 to Arsenal. Marcus Rashford gave Manchester United the lead 27 minutes in at the Emirates. Martin Odegaard equalising almost instantly. Declan Rice and Gabriel Jesus scoring in extra time. Rice, it's a bit of a dagger. But you look at that game on Manchester United, we were better. We weren't that bad. We probably did deserve a point, I think. You can make an argument it should be a penalty for Rasmus Højlund from Gabriel. You can make the argument that Johnny Evans is fouled. I think Kai Havertz deserved a penalty, to be honest. The fact that that wasn't given is beyond me. How they've kind of not only not given the penalty, but gone back and overruled it. I found that puzzling, to be honest. I thought that was a clear as day penalty. Luckily, it wasn't. But in the end, I suppose it didn't really make a difference, with Rice obviously scoring from that corner and Gabriel Jesus scoring on the counter-attack. And look, I mean, United ended that game in really poor shape. You look at our back two was Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire. That simply can't happen. In 2023, you cannot have a centre-back partnership of Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans. They were playing for Leicester together about 5 years ago. How we let that happen is beyond me. And to be honest, when you see stuff like that, it's not really a surprise that United went on to lose that game. Now, Manchester United, of course, we did play Brighton twice last season, including on the opening day at Old Trafford, where we lost 2-1. Pascal Gross scored twice, McAllister scoring an own goal. They also played us later on in the season at the Amex, beating us 1-0. That last minute McAllister penalty from that Luke Shaw handball. We did play each other in the cup. That finished 0-0 and we won on penalties. However, there's not really much to say about that game, or either of the games, any of the games really. Brighton were bettered us all throughout last season, and it's going to be a tough game this year. And it's going to be made even tougher without 2 players. So we'll first talk on Jadon Sancho. Now, after the Arsenal game, where Jadon Sancho was not included in the matchday squad, Erik ten Hag was asked why was Scott McTominay and Jadon Sancho not available and not in the squad. So, on McTominay, it was simply he was injured, he wasn't fit and available. For Jadon Sancho, Erik ten Hag said that at Manchester United we have standards that you have to set constantly, and you have to reach and you have to match. Jadon Sancho did not meet those standards. We have a lot of options in that front line, and Sancho simply wasn't selected. Now, to me, I didn't think that was that bad, to be honest. So let me kind of put some context around this. So I saw, in order of what I saw, so I saw the media going on about how Sancho hadn't trained properly. and was doing shit in training. I then saw Ten Hag's press conference where he said, we have standards we have to hit, and we have a lot of options in that front line at Manchester United. We have a lot of options, and we didn't pick him. I then saw Jadon Sancho's statement where he essentially said he trains hard every week or every day, and he's being made to be a scapegoat. Now, originally, when I saw that, I thought he was referencing the media outlets, because the media was kind of making, in my opinion, was making what Erik Ten Hag said sound a lot worse than it actually was. I didn't think what Ten Hag said was actually, there was anything actually wrong with it. Alas, he put the statement out. He then got dropped. So he's training with the under-23s now. While he has taken the statement down, apparently Erik Ten Hag wanted an apology. Sancho did not give him the apology, and that is why he is now training with the under-23s. So he is suspended for this game. So there will be no Jadon Sancho. We also have another right winger out, and that is Antony. Now, Antony is out. There is some serious allegations of domestic violence, domestic abuse on his ex-partner, or ex-partners, I believe. Now, Antony has come out and said these are all false. I believe he's also leaked some WhatsApp messages trying to plead his innocence. He's also done a TV interview, again, pleading his innocence. Manchester United have come out with a statement saying, we take these allegations very seriously, obviously, as we did with the Mason Greenwood issue. And we said that we have come to a mutual decision for Antony to not return to training after the international break until these allegations are further looked into and a serious and proper investigation has been conducted. And then we will make a decision on whether Antony will be brought back into the first team. So Antony is also suspended, so we'll miss this game. Now, looking at Brighton, they do currently sit 6th in the Premier League, as we said. Form-wise, they're looking quite good. From the opening 4 games of the season, they've won 3, lost 1. That loss, of course, coming to David Moyes' West Ham, where they really got put to the sword on that on the counter-attack. West Ham was devastating. Put a couple past this Brighton team, which gives Manchester United, well, should at least give Manchester United a bit of confidence coming into the game. When you look at the injuries they've got, and Cinso is out for this game, as is Danny Welbeck. Both, well, and Cinso's got a knee injury. Danny Welbeck got a muscle injury. Evan Ferguson also has a knee injury. However, it is looking more than likely that Evan Ferguson will be available for this game, which is, of course, good news for Brighton and Brighton fans, because he's a top player, Evan Ferguson. He really, really is. And I think he is probably their best player, alongside Mitoma and Lewis Dunk. Ideally, Ferguson's not going to be available, because I think he is a very, very good player and can cause problems for this Manchester United team. However, I think they'll, especially given Danny Welbeck is also going to be out, I do think they'll risk him. Now, when it comes to the team I expect to see from Brighton, it is this. So, at the start of the season, Robert De Zerbi did say Verbrugge, is it? And Jason Steele will chop and change this season. So, whoever starts in goal, it could be Jason Steele, it could be Verbrugge. I've gone with Verbrugge. Then it's Joel Veltman, Van der Beek, Lewis Dunk and Espetiñan as a back four, with Pascal Gross and Billy Gilmore as that midfield double pivot. I think we'll then see Solly March on the right, Mitoma on the left, with João Pedro just behind Evan Ferguson. Now, this is the same lineup that we saw Brighton play in their last game, in which they did win. So I would not be surprised to see them kind of stick with this same team. And look, it's a team with a lot of quality. João Pedro, obviously signed from Brighton, a very good player. Mitoma, we know how good he is And he's really a real superstar, an elite dribbler. Everyone knows the qualities that this guy's possessed. Espitignan, since signing for Brighton, has gone down as one of the best left-backs in the country. He has been absolutely fantastic for Brighton. And he kind of just fits perfectly how this Brighton team want to play. When it comes to Manchester United, we have a whole list, a whole wall of injuries. Mason Mount, Raphael Varane, Luke Shaw, Anthony, Martinez, Sancho, Amrabat, Ahmad, and Kobe Mainoo. When it comes to Lisandro Martinez, he has been in training. While it's down as a doubt, most likely he will be available. Mason Mount, he's going to be out, as is Varane. Shaw, we know both Anthony and Sancho will going to be out for the reasons we discussed earlier. Ahmad and Kobe Mainoo, definitely out. Amrabat is very hit and miss. Now, as things stand, it's supposedly 50-50. According to Ten Hag in his presser earlier, there is a chance Amrabat will play. So, with that in mind, I think you kind of risk it. You look at the team I believe Erik Ten Hag will go with. I do think he will use Amrabat. In goal, it will of course be Andre Onana. Right back, I think we'll definitely see Aaron Wan-Bissaka start at right back. The amount of times we've played Brighton and Aaron Wan-Bissaka has kind of locked up Mitoma. I think it happened both times last season. Mitoma played against us. I don't see any reason why we'd not keep Wan-Bissaka at right back, especially given how well Diego Dalot played at left back. Malacia and Luke Shaw are both out. So it just makes sense to kind of leave Diego Dalot at left back, given how well he played against Arsenal. Which, of course, then means Aaron Wan-Bissaka naturally has to play at right back. Lisandro Martinez and Lindelof will be our centre-back partnership. There is no way, shape or form Harry Maguire will play. He's been under a lot of criticism at the moment. Scored the own goal against Scotland for England. He's not in good form. He's not, for me, he's not in the right mind frame. And in a massive game like this, a player that's not in the right mind frame, they're not in the good form, simply cannot play. He cannot play. Harry Maguire at the moment needs protecting. And to do so, you do not start him against a top team like Brighton just to be run at. It would be the most stupid decision, especially given he's not as good as Victor Lindelof, or hasn't at least been in as good form as Lindelof. Casemiro and Amrabat, for me, will be in the midfield double pivot. I think Amrabat is much better defensively. It's better. He's much better just in all facets of the game defensively than a Christian Eriksen, than a Mason Mount, which is why I think it's so important that he can play in there alongside Casemiro. He can help get the ball from the back line and bring it forward. And also, just give us that defensive stability. Again, Brighton, they're a top team with a lot of top players. They're a very attacking and forward-thinking side. So we need someone like Amrabat who can just help Casemiro kind of steady the midfield and help us get more control of this game. Because if we lose it, as you say there, NG, we could be in big trouble. Because this Brighton team are no joke. No, AFCON's in January. AFCON's January, is it not? Yeah, no, it's January. That's fine. You had me concerned there for a second. So yeah, I think Amrabat and Casemiro have to start in midfield together. Just shore up that midfield. Then you look at the front line. I do think we will keep Christian Eriksen in. Obviously, we're missing both Jadon Sancho and Anthony. So someone has to play on that right. I think he'll move Bruno Fernandes out there personally and move Christian Eriksen into number 10. with Marcus Rashford on the left and Rasmus Højlund up top. Now, Martial could start. However, I do see him sticking with Rasmus Højlund. He came on against Arsenal, made a big impact, played very well. I don't see why you wouldn't stick with Rasmus Højlund in this game, given the impact that he had. I think Rasmus Højlund looks the real deal. I'm very, very excited to have Rasmus Højlund at the club. I think he could be big for us. I really do. Now, that right-hand side, that is the big question on everyone's lips. Like I said, I think Ten Hag will go with Bruno, to be honest. I think he's shown that he likes to play Bruno Fernandes out on that right-hand side. So I think he will put him there, especially if that does mean allowing us to keep in Christian Eriksen. However, if he doesn't want to move Bruno out wide, that does give an opportunity to either an Alejandro Garnacho or Pellistri to start on that right-hand side. Now, for me personally, I would start Pellistri over Christian Eriksen. Now, for me, look, this Brighton team, they are a very good side. I think they're probably going to dominate possession. They're probably going to kind of take control of this game, more or less. But I want a player on my flanks that when they get the ball, they're going to be direct, they're going to drive and bring us up the pitch. And I don't think there's really, apart from maybe Rashford and maybe Garnacho, there is a better player in this side capable of doing that than Pellistri. He's so quick. He's so direct. He is an absolute nightmare for defenders. An absolute nightmare. And if you can get him running at, whether it's Espinyan, especially, well, if it is, it will be Espinyan, won't it? I think you can, you can make Espinyan kind of consider, do I want to be bombing forward all the time? If I've got this bloke running at me running into the space I'm leaving, the answer will probably end up being no. And if you can force him back, you stop a lot of what Brighton are capable of doing. So a Pellistri Espinyan foot race will be interesting. You put Bruno Fernandes up against Espinyan. Espinyan has more license to get forward, knowing Bruno Fernandes isn't as quick as me. If Bruno Fernandes can have a head start and I'll still catch him, he doesn't have the same kind of freedom and license up against a Pellistri. That being said, Pellistri's also in pretty good form. Whenever we see him come on, he always looks lively, looks dangerous. And I would just like to see him have a go against this Brighton team. And I think it says a lot, really, if he doesn't play, to be honest. Because if he can't get a game against Brighton when Anthony and Sancho are both out, given Garnacho's a left winger, as is Rashford, Martial too. Bruno Fernandes is our best attacking midfielder. There is, if we are preferring to put one of those guys out of position on the right as opposed to playing him, I would be questioning Erik ten Hag, saying, why have you kept me here? Why am I here if when the two guys that are in front of me for this right-hand side, in Sancho and Anthony, are both unavailable? Am I still not getting minutes? Still not getting a start? Why am I here? It'd be crazy if he doesn't start today. Or tomorrow, I should say. For me, and I just think give him a go. We've got no other options. I think our best team has Bruno Fernandes through the middle. I'm not a massive fan of Bruno on the right. So let's give Pellistri a bit of time. Let's give him a chance. But look, predictions for this game. Like I said, it's going to be a tough one. This isn't going to be an easy game whatsoever. But I think Manchester United can win it. And I think we should be going to win it. Like I say, Brighton are a good side. There's no doubts about that. However, they lost to West Ham. If West Ham can beat them, so can we. I have complete and utter faith in Erik ten Hag and what he's doing at this club. I think that the lineup, while we are missing a lot of players, that is clear. Look at the number. That's 9 players. 9 first-team players there that are unavailable. And that's not including Tiro Malacia. There is a lot of players missing. And yet, I still think we have a good enough team to go and beat them. And that would be what I'd be doing. Go and play them. Go toe to toe, play our way, and give them a game. I'm getting, in a way, I'm kind of getting fed up of playing against these sides and going defensive. There has to come a point where we say, you know what, we're going to try and play our way. We're going to win by player in our way. I think that team or this team, whichever one you want to say, that squad, that group of players is very much good enough to start playing how we want to play. It's got all the key attributes we need. We've got Onana there, who's helping us leaps and bounds with becoming press proof or press resistant. Sorry, Sandro Martinez, Lindelof, very good on the ball defenders. Wan-Bissaka and Dalot, good fullbacks. Wan-Bissaka defensively especially. I think this team is actually starting to look, if we go with this sort of team, is much more in the mould of that Ajax 18, is it 18-19 or 17-18? Ajax side that we saw get to the Champions League semi-final, to be honest, than the Ajax team that kind of Erik ten Hag ended with the two advanced states. I think this is far more like you got Frank de Jong in Amrabat and you got Schoen in Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes is your Donny van der Beek. You have Rasmus Højlund, who is your, whether that's Dolberg, whether that's Tadic. You got your Neres and you've got your Ziyech in Rashford and Palestri. And that's why I actually think he will go with this team, with Bruno Fernandes kind of playing that Ziyech role, with Eriksen as the Frankie de Jong. Not Frankie de Jong, as the Donny van der Beek, with Rashford as kind of that David Neres type player. With then again Højlund being Tadic, Dolberg, and Sebastian Haller come the end of his time at Ajax, despite it being obviously a different set of team. But if I had to give a prediction, I'm gonna go 2-0 United. A clean sheet for Andre Onana, that would be perfect. As long as that backline can stay fit for the game, I have every confidence of us keeping a clean sheet. And I think with that attack, goals are there to be scored. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Manchester United. But look, that's going to be the end of this look ahead. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button below. Subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. And please do tune in for the watch along. Details are on my side, as I say. 2:30 kickoff. 2:30 the stream will start with kickoff at 3 o'clock. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all over in the watch along tomorrow. See you later. Boom.